day, 60,000 men, women, and children around the world die from chronic hunger and malnutrition. Meanwhile, at least 10% of the food grown on American farms is left rotting in fields because it's not attractive enough or it's too ripe to sell. Turning the two problems into a solution, the new Breed Love facility will begin dehydrating surplus food so it can feed hungry people.
We're taking that food out of the field and we're putting it into the hands of people that can use that food. So we're taking a natural resource and putting it to good use rather than wasting it.
It's the first of its kind in the world, and it's written up in Guinness Book of Records. It's had major articles in all the major trade magazines because of what its purpose is. We're using waste produce that would otherwise be fed to animals or be plowed under, salvaging that product, preserving it so it can be used to feed hungry people.
We've dried everything from carrots. We do real well with carrots, and we like them. We've dried 7 loads of celery in this machine, and it did beautiful. It did great. So really, we're confident and comfortable with this machine. We think we can do about anything with it we want to, with the help of the manufacturer, of course.
We take and freight it in, bring it into the plant, go through the truck unloading system, dirt elimination system, storage bins, even flow bins for monitoring the flow into the plant and controlling the flow into the plant. We go through a washing system to help get rid of any of the excess dirt that's on the product as it's coming in. Water transfer system, which also helps eliminate some of the dirt, down into a peeling system. We're trying to remove anywhere from 5 to 10, sometimes upwards of 15%, 18% peel off of some of the product that we're receiving because of the varieties and the type of product that we are receiving. We're very different than a normal processing plant because of the fact that we don't have any control over the products that we're actually receiving. We get everything that nobody wants, you might say. So we have a very unique situation in a number of different varieties that we run through the plant.
After peeling and trimming, potatoes move up a Techway belt to a surge bin. The Techway system continuously weighs the incoming product and adjusts the auger speed to maintain a steady flow of product to the dehydrator. Next, the potatoes are fed into an Urschel dicer, which can be set for many diced sizes. The dices fall into a water transfer flume, which removes starch from the product while it moves the dices to the next step. The dewatered dices are fed by an auger to the blancher. The blancher uses hot water and steam to blanch the dices. From the blancher, the diced potatoes are carried up a conveyor and into the dryer.
The dryer is really the heart of the system. Everything else is preparing the product for the dryer.
Uniform loading is one of the most critical things in the dryer system. Proctor's wiper feed system ensures that loadings are even.
You're basically feeding from one side of the dryer onto a cross belt that has above it mounted paddles that will actually wipe the product onto the bed, which is another very critical aspect of proper drying. That bed has got to be evenly filled and all the way across. You can't have low spots on the sides or in the middle because that's where your airflow will want to go. So the more even that bed, the more even flow of air you'll have, and that's critical to proper drying. I think the big difference is that Proctor Schwartz uses airflow up and down and alternates in order to ensure that both the bottom and the top of the bed as well as the middle is evenly dried. One of the features of this dryer is it is a 3-stage unit, and each stage has its own belt system, its own fans, and they're overlapping. And in order to maximize the efficiency of the dryer and minimize the space required, it's been designed in such a way that as you remove moisture from the product, the subsequent stages are allowed to have a deeper bed, which reduces the overall length required, and the fan velocities and capacities, the heat is all designed to accommodate the deeper bed. So subsequently you end up with a little bit shorter system. What's critical to any operation in drying is even airflow and even heat.
The dryer arrived and we had a crew set up, and a very short amount of time to put this dryer in, and it was simply amazing that when all the supervisors and whatever from Proctor got here, it just went together very quickly. In fact, they put this particular dryer together in about a 10-day span. Obviously, had to work around the clock to do that, but we've never had to tinker with it since then. Once that machine has been put online, we've had very little problems with it. So, you know, it was very impressive. It's a piece of equipment where, even though it is somewhat complicated, it's still very easy to operate that piece of equipment.
Once you understand drying technology and what's required, it is very easy to learn how to operate that dryer.
Well, the dryer itself provides very good flexibility in that you can change the temperature settings. This provides very good flexibility in running different products.
It's very easy to set the set points for temperatures. It's very easy to monitor those temperatures. It's very easy to set dwell times through the dryer. Once we set them, we can check the equipment, and we check it every 30 minutes, and it's always exactly where we set it, every 30 minutes, so it doesn't fluctuate. It's a nice piece of equipment. Very well built, very strong.
We insisted that the dryer manufacturer have a track record in the same products that we intended to run, that had references that we could talk to, which we did, and of course had the quality and the reputation that we needed to ensure that this would be a long-lasting piece of equipment. And we found that Proctor Schwarz enjoyed a very strong reputation throughout the industry, and the price was very competitive and a very compact design.
It's so easy to clean, and that's a real plus, because when you run this piece of equipment for hour after hour after hour, day after day after day, then you only allow for so many hours to clean this piece of equipment. I can't come in and clean it for 2 or 3 days. I don't have the manpower nor the time. With these spray nozzles that are on the bottom of the dryer, as the belt is making its rotation, we are adding this water, blowing this water onto the bottom of the belt, which softens that product. It either knocks it off or allows us to clean it off when it gets back around the front.
The side drive chain is very rugged. It's even though that dryer is moving very slowly, there's a lot of stress. That entire dryer will actually expand and contract because you're heating it up and you're cooling it down. So it has to be designed to withstand that. We've had good success with other Proctors in the past. The side chain as well as the product chain is very ruggedly designed.
Proctor's heavy-duty cam-operated doffer system ensures smooth transfer of product from stage A to B and B to C. Here, partially dried product is lifted by the cam-operated doffer from stage A and dropped onto stage B through a set of breaker fingers, ensuring that product turnover and separation as it enters stage B. Heavy-duty reinforcing girts strengthen and support the product belt.
When you look at what we're doing here, we essentially are running an operation that is designed on the same quality and level as a commercial operation with the same quality of equipment. And yet we're running it with people who 6 months ago had absolutely no experience in dehydration, or in many cases even a process facility. They've learned the basics, they're doing well. Now it's a matter of fine-tuning for the various vegetables and fruits and other products that we intend to run on the 2 lines. It all tells me, and we've talked a lot about it amongst the people at the food bank, of the opportunity down the road to look at a similar type system where the need is so great in many of the foreign countries. While the technology is generally at a lower level, we're looking at systems that are not difficult to operate, not difficult to maintain. They can be designed and modified for the level of technology within that country. And we've seen fairly sophisticated Proctor systems, as I've mentioned, in countries such as Poland and Russia. There's so much produce that's wasted, that's not being utilized, and such a great need in many of these countries, that preservation of that product. And again, it makes much more sense to dehydrate than it does to put in refrigeration systems or canning. So the potential of this type of system or a similar system that would be used to take waste, otherwise wasted produce, to feed hungry people, I think is just enormous. I think we're just scratching the surface, and hopefully it's a good beginning.
My opinion would be that this would be a godsend for some countries to be able to have equipment like this dryer and the process equipment to feed the dryer. It's very simple in design. It's very simple as a process flow. It's very easy to train people to pick up this process flow. So I would certainly think that in some countries, if this equipment was available to these countries, that they could put this equipment in and feed thousands and thousands of people with relatively, without having to go out and have a fully trained staff of specifically trained people, whereas you could take a core group of people and build from that core and make a very efficient plant operate, just like I've done in this plant here. It's very simple.
The transportation and distribution is simplified. You're not hauling water around, you're hauling the basic product that you can add water to when it gets to where it's going. And this has always been a problem in feeding the hungry people that need to be fed in this country and even in foreign countries. It's not that we didn't have the food. It was the fact that we could not get the food to the people who needed it before it deteriorated to the point where it was worthless. Well, we've solved that problem with the dehydration. We feel real good about it.